avocado is loaded with fat, but it is a healthy food. But, where does that really rank in terms of health? Well, we have a brand new study to talk about that really did a deep dive on this specifically about the gut microbiome and the variety of gut microbiome that is produced by eating avocados. And so we're going to talk all about this. It is fascinating stuff. And the best person to talk about these types of studies is our friend, Dr. Hana Kahleova. Dr. Kahleova, thank you so very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Chuck.
What a fascinating study. I cannot wait to get into the numbers and just start doing questions and answers with you. But could you tell us a little bit about the study overall to begin with?
Absolutely. Let's see what happens when you eat an avocado a day. Is it like an apple? An apple a day keeps your doctor away. How about an avocado a day? Well, the authors published the findings in the Journal of Nutrition. And it was a randomized clinical trial with 163 overweight people. And they were randomized to either eat one avocado a day or receive a control meal that was matched for energy and fat content. And they were doing this for 12 weeks. For 12 weeks, the participants in both groups were receiving one meal each day. And so for the avocado group, it contained one whole avocado. For the control group, the fat content was matched by added oils and fats. And the rest of the diet remained the same. They were instructed to keep their diet constant so that it was only one meal a day that was supplied by the research team. Now, the findings are pretty fascinating. The avocado intake led to an increased diversity in the gut microbiome. So more kinds of bacteria and more healthy bacteria were growing in the gut of people who were eating avocados. Also, the bile acid concentrations decreased in the avocado group, while the fatty acids increased in the fecal samples in the avocado group. That means that people were eating more fat with the avocado, but they were also able to excrete more fat in their feces. They were also the feces had more content of the short-chain fatty acids that are beneficial for our gut health. So it seems like an avocado a day had some beneficial effect. Now, the question is, with so much fat that you're consuming in an avocado, will you gain weight? And the answer is, in the study, the participants in both groups gained about 2 pounds over the course of 12 weeks. So when you're concerned about your waistline, it's still a good idea to be careful with even healthy fats coming from avocados.
Okay. So let's now dive into the numbers. I'm a numbers guy, and I was going through this study with a fine-tooth comb, and I got so excited about the findings. So, okay, you know that you do gain weight with an avocado because it is loaded in fat, but let's talk about exactly what it was that the study participants were eating in terms of calories. You're talking about the avocado group, I believe, was eating 300 additional calories every single day than the non-avocado group, but they gain the same amount of weight. How is that possible? What are they surmised there?
This is a fascinating topic. Like calories are not created equal. So if we just pour oil over our salad, for example, or if we eat the same amount of calories from nuts or avocados, the effect will not be the same because our body will need more energy to digest the avocado or nuts. It's been also shown that some of the energy, about 30% of the fat, may be excreted in your feces. So you will not even absorb all the fat. While from the oil, the fat is just rushing into your bloodstream and can be stored in your adipose tissue immediately. So the healthy fats in avocados and nuts are, kind of protected from the digestion. You're not able to chew that well and digest them all as effectively as and readily as from oil and added fats. So that's why you can consume even a little bit more energy and gain the same amount of weight.
Let's talk about how many avocados these study participants were eating. I believe for men it was something like 175 grams per day. For the women, a little bit less, maybe in the 140 ballpark. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that just about one whole avocado every single day?
That's correct. That's one whole avocado a day. So men were receiving a larger one and women a smaller one.
Yeah, and so I went and I pulled some of the nutritional breakdown for an average avocado. And this is just from the USDA and their food database, publicly available. Anybody can access it at any time. The average avocado comes in at 150 grams, has 240 calories, 22 total grams of fat, and 10 grams of fiber. And Dr. Kahleova, I would argue that the fiber here also plays a critical role in why there wasn't excess weight gain for the avocado group.
Absolutely. The meals were not matched for fiber intake. So that means the control meals were only matched for energy and macronutrient content. So they were matching the fat content in the avocado by adding oils and added fats, but they were not matching the fiber intake. The fiber intake was only 4 grams in the control meal, but the avocado provided 16 grams of fiber in each meal. So the fiber intake is a huge contributor to the beneficial effects on gut microbiome. And needless to say, you don't have to consume avocados in order to get the benefits of fiber. You can consume your oatmeal, apples, other plant-based foods that are not as rich in fat. That will also provide you with the benefits of fiber.
Now, let's talk about the importance of gut microbiome and having a wide variety of it and how that affects your health, because that is the key to this study. I mean, that was the overall part of this study was what the avocado did to your gut health. So why is it important that we do have a wide variety of gut bacteria?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. It can be compared to your financial portfolio. You don't want to invest everything in one stock and then, find out that it was not the wise investment. You want to diversify your investments so that if a disaster happens, when a crisis comes, you're covered somewhere else. And that's the same for our gut microbiome. If we take antibiotics, for example, then we want to have a large variety of gut microbiome that will survive versus those that will be killed by the antibiotics. So it's important to have a variety of the gut bacteria. It's been shown that, for example, people living in rural Africa have a larger variety of their gut microbiota compared with Western countries. And it's not only because in rural Africa they consume a lot more fiber and a lot more plant-based foods. It's also because they're living in more contact with nature, the way they're consuming their food, getting a lot of the foods directly from the field and from the trees. with some bacteria already without sanitation. That's also an important factor. So having a rich microbiome helps you survive all the crises that may come your way.
And the researchers in this case, they were looking at particular varieties of microbiome. What was it specifically that they were looking for here? I have that list in front of me, but I am going to put you on the spot because I cannot pronounce a single one of them, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yes, avocado increased the abundance of Faecalibacterium, then Lacanospira and Alistipes. And these three kinds of bacteria produce the short-chain fatty acids. They feed on fiber and produce short-chain fatty acids that have many metabolic benefits. They increase your insulin sensitivity, they protect your heart, they help you with your weight management. So it's wonderful to have these specific bacteria that can produce short-chain fatty acids. And that's exactly what the avocado group experienced. They experienced an increase in these beneficial kinds of bacteria.
All right. Short chain fatty acids. Let's do a recap here for those who aren't familiar. What would a short chain fatty acid be? What is its purpose?
So a short chain fatty acid would be, for example, butyrate or acetate. And the avocado group had a higher concentration of these short chain fatty acids. They have many metabolic benefits. The first of them is that they prevent the condition that's called the leaky gut. And that's a common condition in the Western countries. Obesity increases the amount of molecules that are able to come through the gut blood barrier. And it's not a healthy thing, because the healthy thing is to have the tight junction in our gut that prevent larger molecules from coming through the wall. And if we are overweight, or if we are on a high-fat Western diet, then we develop a condition that's called the leaky gut, where the tight junctions in the gut are not as tight anymore, and larger molecules may escape to the bloodstream. And what happens then? We can develop a condition that's called endotoxinemia, where after a meal, after a high-fat meal, there are some toxins in our bloodstream that are normally not present if our gut barrier is intact. And the short-chain fatty acids may really support the healthy gut-blood barrier. They may restore the tight junctions. So that's their number one function. They can restore the gut lining and the integrity of the gut lining. And they have many metabolic benefits, including protecting our heart, boosting our immune system, and also increasing the insulin sensitivity and preventing diabetes. So that's why you want to produce a lot of short-chain fatty acids, and why you want to have these healthy kinds of bacteria in your gut.
And let's talk about how much fat a person actually does need in their diet. We talk a lot on the exam room about a whole food, plant-based diet that is low in fat. And then you look at the avocado here. Obviously, we've been talking about its healthy fat, but still 22 grams of fat for one avocado. That's definitely on the high scale of things. So how much fat should somebody actually be targeting, in your opinion, for their diet every day? How much do we need to actually function?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, an avocado would definitely cover all your needs for the whole day. So if you eat one avocado, you're covered for the whole day. You don't need any other sources of fat.
Did this study? I know that you're very big in the diabetes world. That's your primary focus of study, and you're so fantastic at that. Was there anything related to that here? Anything along glucose or anything like that?
What was related was that avocado consumption increased the abundance of Faecalibacterium prausnitzii. This bacteria is very low in people with diabetes. And the low counts in people with diabetes have also been associated with increased inflammation and increased insulin resistance. So increasing the abundance of Faecalibacterium prausnitzii in this study by consuming avocados is actually showing one of the crucial mechanisms how to prevent diabetes. Compared with oil and added fats, we need to say. That was the control group. So if you're on a high-fat diet, if you're consuming a lot of oils and added fats, then switching to an avocado instead of oils and added fats will give you definitely benefits in terms of diabetes prevention. But at the same time, both groups gained some weight. They gained 2 pounds over the course of 12 weeks. So being careful about the quantities you're eating a day is definitely advisable.
Now, let's talk a little bit about getting that variety of food, which inherently, speaking with the number of gastroenterologists on the show, Dr. Will Bulsiewicz, Dr. Alan Desmond, top of their game as far as being gastroenterologists. Both of them say it's really important to eat a wide variety of foods to get that wide variety of bacteria that you and I are talking about here today. They're specifically talking about healthy foods, healthy fruits, vegetables, grains, legumes, the things that are on our power plate.
Mm.
However, if somebody was eating that standard American diet, but let's say they were eating a wide variety of fast food, so say maybe a breakfast burrito, followed by a hamburger and French fries, followed by fried chicken and pizza, would they, would you still get that same variety of gut bacteria? And can you even really compare the two diets there?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't think that would count as a variety of different foods. If you deep fry everything that you're eating, you pretty much lose all the, most of the nutritional content in all these foods and most of the benefits. When you're eating a large variety of plant foods, what's also helpful is getting your foods from different sources. Each soil has different properties. So let's say, you can get a lot of your produce from local farmers markets and local grocery stores. But sometimes you can also get imported foods from different countries. You can go to the international section. You can get some Indian food and some Thai food. And that also gives you additional stimuli for your gut microbiome if the crops have been grown in different soils.
And I don't think that we've talked about this quite yet, is specifically what the menu was for each of these groups, the avocado group versus the non-avocado group. Clearly, the avocado group eating more than just avocados. Did the study define what it was that they were eating day in and day out, or was this all self-reported based off of the menus that they were creating for themselves?
Yeah, the diet records were self-reported. The researchers provided only one meal a day for the participants that contained either a whole avocado or, contained the same amount of fat from the added oils and fats. And the meals differed so that people would not eat one single meal that would be the same each day. So the researchers don't specify, which meals and how many kinds of meals they were switching. Um, but I suppose one of them had to be like breakfast burrito. It's so convenient, for preparation and also for the consumption.
Sure. And let's just do a kind of a final wrap up here. Yes or no? Avocados part of a healthy diet.
Yes, but in small amounts.
Yes, and smaller. So would you recommend eating a whole avocado every single day, like the participants of these studies did?
It depends on what your baseline diet looks like. If you're on a Western diet with a lot of fried foods, then getting away from your fried foods and getting all your fat from avocado would be a beneficial change. But don't add an avocado a day if you're on a healthy plant-based diet. Uh, Avocados are wonderful. They contain a lot of fiber, a lot of monounsaturated fats, but we need to be careful about their amounts.
Moderation. The same applies to nuts. That's something that our colleagues here at the Physicians Committee have stressed over and over and over again as well, is do not eat the whole jar of nuts. And the same principle applies here with avocados. But nonetheless, I got to tell you, I'm craving guacamole in the worst way right now.
Yeah, well, you can get one dip.
Dr. Hana Kahleova, thank you so very much. This has been fascinating.
Thank you so much, Chuck.